Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models and welcome to another tutorial video. Now in this video we're going to be doing weathering washes. We're going to be concentrating on using a sludge wash for this one, and the whole point is to take our model, to take all these lovely recessed panel lines and recessed rivets and fill them in with some sort of a wash in so we can bring the detail out to the foreground more, make it look more interesting, give it that dirty grimy look and just weather up the model. Now there is lots of ways we're going to do this. I'm going to show you in this tutorial the sludge wash version, but you can use pin washes using enamels or oils, but this is sort of like the more sort of a water-based version, plus you can make it yourself. So there is a really nice product out there. It is by Flurry Models. It is a weathering wash. We've got some dark dirt here. It's already in a pot, ready to go, painted on. I'll show you how to use it later. But I just want to sort of show you that you can sort of make this kind of stuff your own yourself, because it is quite basic. Now all you basically need is, you can go off, you can buy some pigments, right, or you can sort of get a cheaper option. I mean, this is by Ammo. These can be quite expensive. I've got a black and a brown here. We can mix them together to really make that really nice dark dirty color that we generally use for our aircraft. But you can go off, and you might have seen this before in the first version video I did this, because this is so we call it 2.0, where I'm basically updating these tutorials. But we've got these soft pastels. Now if you remember from last time, what you basically do, it's really nice easy. These pastels, soft pastels, you want to make sure you get the soft pastels, not get any sort of oil-based pastels or anything like that. And you can really, make pigments yourself kind of easily. And basically what we do is we can just get out the brown just here. Right, we'll bring you in a little bit closer, and what you do is with a blade we can nicely just scrape down this. Hopefully, as you can see there, so easy, and we get a whole bunch of pigment. We can mix that with black, and it just makes the whole process really cheap. Right, but I'm just going to throw that away, right, because I want to just show you using the Ammo products. Right, so as you can see, you can get your hands on pigments quite cheap, because that was only like maybe £1, £2. Just getting out our pigments just here, and what we're going to do, I'm just going to use a bit of our Russian earth, maybe add a little bit of black to make it really sort of nice and dark. Get something to kind of scoop it in, like a pipette or something. Well, maybe not a pipette, but some sort of a spoon type shape kind of tool that you might have. So I've got something just here, and I can just pop in a nice bit of pigment just here, and then I can get out our black. This stuff can get a little bit messy, so you really want to try not to be touching it, because as soon as you touch it, you're like touching your model, and fingerprints everywhere. And we're going to get a little bit of black. Right. I mean, this is kind of like an experience thing to sort of, mixing this with this color, you get this color. It's kind of sort of up to you. But as I say, I mean, you can just buy the pots, which is, I mean, it might be a bit more expensive, but it is easier to go down that route. But I just wanted to show you how it's sort of made. So now I'm just going to get a pipette, and I'm going to get a little bit of water. Water, you want to have like the kind of stuff that you buy out of a bottle, from the supermarket or something. You don't want to be having hard water or anything like that, any sort of slight contamination. And you want to kind of try and mix this into a, shall we say, a bit of a coffee consistency. So I'm just going to get out a nice brush just to brush this all in. Right. Now you probably have a bit of water tension. You want to get rid of that in a bit. If we just mix that together, right, maybe get some paper out. So with a little bit of paper, you can sort of test the consistency. You're after a bit of a coffee kind of consistency there. You don't want it to be, too thin down that it's really transparent and it's not really going to go on your model. You don't want it to be too thick either, just a nice sort of coffee consistency. And then what we can do is, if I get another paintbrush out just here, we can mix in a little bit of washing up liquid. Really nice and simple, cheap ingredients. Just got a little bit of washing up liquid here, right? And we probably just want to, you know, just throw in a couple of drops of that, right? Maybe another about 4 drops ish, but again, you know, you just want a couple of drops. I mean, for this little bit of making a bit of a solution, 4 drops seems to do the trick nicely, right? This kind of stuff as well, I mean, I know I'm making this myself, but what you want to sort of remember is I like to sort of do it as a nice little batch to do the model itself. The problem is with this, because it's just such a simple ingredient, you know, the water can start building up bacteria and make the whole thing go off. So I kind of make enough to do the job at hand, not make a load to store it, because then you need to kind of put stuff in there to stop bacteria growing and all that good stuff. But basically what the washing up liquid's done is it's give it a sort of, it's almost like a flow improver. It makes the water sort of flow and let it, the whole stuff flow around, so it goes into recessed panel lines and just flows in there and spreads out, and that's what you're after. Right, so we've got our mixture just here, nice coffee consistency with a nice bit of washing up liquid to help it flow. So now I'm going to show you how this sludge wash actually works. Now, I've shown you how quick and easy it is to make. I mean, you know, again, this is kind of personal preference, because I've gone off and I've mixed 2 types of pigment, or I'm going down the cheaper route and I'm scraping up on my own pigments and then again mixing, you know, getting washing up liquid, mixing, water mixing, you know. It can be a bit of a faff, and it is actually quite easy to go buy the bottle. So I'm going to show you in this example using the Flurry Models weathering washes, but you know what I've just shown you is basically the same mixture and you can get the same results with it, right? So I'm just going to put these out the way. I'm going to show you how it all works, right? So give our bottle a good shake, right? And they do a lot of nice colours as well, colours that you're gonna use, right? So you don't really have to mix anything up, right? And then what we're going to do, we're just going to get a nice paintbrush, a paintbrush that we're happy to use. I like using this one, and all we got to do with this stuff is we dip it in nice and easy, and then we just paint it, just plaster it all over the model. Let's get you on camera a little bit better. Yeah, just plaster it all over the model, right? I'm using like circular actions just to sort of, you know, work it into the recessed panel lines, work it into the recessed rivets, right? And what I'm going to do now is you just leave that to dry for about 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes ish. Then I'll repeat the process. I'll add a second coat, leave it to dry for about 20-30 minutes, and then you're ready for the next bit. So now, as you can see, it looks an absolute mess. Now don't worry, you haven't ruined your model. If you're doing this for the first time, it is a little bit concerning, but just to let you know, the beauty of this is we've kind of made a paint, right? But we haven't, because what it is, I mean, to give you sort of like the basic ingredients of paint, what we've just done is we've got pigments, we've added water as like a thinner, but to make paint you need to add a medium, and what the medium does is make paint stick. It makes the pigments stick, and all we've done is remove the medium side of it. So what we have here is we've just put the pigments in a form, in a liquid form, in which we can paint it on. The washing up liquid just helps it flow, so this pigment isn't sticking to the model, and by letting it dry we can now wipe away that pigment, right? So I'm just getting a bit of a kitchen paper towel, make it a little bit moist, and what you want to do is you just start off with circles like so, and as you can see immediately is that we start cleaning the surface up, and it's removing it onto the kitchen paper towel. Maybe find a cleaner part of the kitchen paper towel, get it a little bit moist, right, and we can just keep on wiping at it, and you just keep at it until you get most of it up. Alright, so I'm just giving this another go, and by doing circles as well you're working the pigments into those recessed panel lines and recessed rivets, right? And the beauty of this is, because you know we're just trying to wipe away what's on the surface. Inside the recessed panel lines, we can't wipe inside the recessed panel lines unless we sort of get something really tiny and push it in there, right? So what happens is, as you can see, I'll bring you in a little bit closer, the pigments are staying inside the recessed panel lines and recessed rivets. Now when we've got most of it up, as you can see it's still a little bit dirty, right, we can get our kitchen paper towel a little bit moist, but then start to clean this up in the direction of flow. Right, so our aircraft's traveling this way, we're wiping this way. So what this basically does is, if we did miss a bit of this wash, right, it's gonna go in a bit of a streak, right, a dirty streak, which actually adds to the flavor of the weathering by having these little dirty streaks on here. Right, and as you can see, right, almost done. And there we go, all that lovely detail work has been brought to the foreground, right? We can see all this dirt and grime in there. It looks a lot more interesting than this side. This side's not got the wash on. We've just got our normal spraying techniques going on there, right? It just makes it look so much more cooler and interesting. Now, what you may want to do is get out some cotton wool buds, right? Because there might be some stubborn areas, hard to reach places, where maybe, you know, you might want to get in on this aileron here, and maybe there's a big dirty bit just underneath here around these gun ports and whatnot. It gets a bit more more sort of in your face and harder to reach when, say, maybe we've got these 90-degree angles where we can't get the kitchen paper towel. So getting in there with a cotton wool bud, we can clean those areas up and give it that professional look. And also, don't forget those leading edges, right? We don't want a load of stuff there, which hopefully, as you can see, if I just kind of just wipe, it might look clean, but then we wipe up, and as you can see, there's quite a bit still on this. Don't forget those leading edges all the way around. And there you go, that is basically it. One little tip as well is, when you use your paintbrush, kind of a good idea to use the same paintbrush for the same job. Make sure it's clean as well. If you've been using oil paints or any kind of other paints and then you start mixing it in there, right, you can sort of contaminate the pot, so just be careful with that one. But apart from that, hopefully you've sort of learned a bit about, you know, making your own washes, that you can buy your product up if you want to, and how to use it and how to get these cool effects. But as I say, there are other ways of doing it. You do have the panel line washes by Ammo. I think AK does them. You know, you can make your own oils or enamel based ones and you just do a pin wash. That's a little bit more advanced because you know, you can really target where you want it to be, as well as you've got more control to make lots of tiny little streaks and really sort of make it look really, really cool. But nice and easy, the sludge wash, however you want to go about it, buy it or make it yourself. But apart from that, hopefully you have enjoyed this nice quick tutorial on filling in panel lines with a weathering wash. But as always, until next time, my name is Bob Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I'll catch you later.